everybody, it's Spooky from Armored Talk, and today we are in a Dragoon 390, one of the new vehicles coming to Armored Warfare. And I missed that one. I kind of hung in the back here simply because I was a few tiers down. The enemy team has a couple tier 6s, a couple tier 5s, and a bunch of 4s, and here come some tanks. If I remember this game correctly, I'm actually kind of glad I was back here, because I'm not too sure that our team would have survived that push that they did had I not been doing some of the damage I'm doing here. As you can tell, there we go. As you can tell, the Dragoon does fire rather rapidly and hits hard, especially for tier 3 going against some higher tier vehicles here. Yeah, that just hit for 467 damage. So combine relatively fast firing with high damage and being able to fire with impunity from a distance, this tank can do some damage. It's a tank destroyer, of course, at tier 3, which is part of the reason it's able to do so much damage and fires a little bit faster. It's wheeled, so you have to be able to get used to driving a wheeled vehicle. Of course, I haven't driven it very far in this particular game. You know, I've seen a lot of tanks come to this position at A/B6. I've been hit by it enough when I'm coming down the 8 line from the other side. I thought this would be a good game to try it out, and that position can work very, very well. As you can tell, I was able to fire back at the AB2 line. You can also, as I did, turn and fire at tanks coming down the 8 line after they cross the E bridge. I just would caution anybody coming to this area, if you are not having opportunities to shoot at vehicles, to move on. There's no sense just sitting there waiting for your teammates to die and everybody to come to you. I was fortunate that I had a lot of firing opportunities, so I was able to get a lot of damage done. Now, however, it's time to move on. I think I thought I was going to have to go over and help finish that last tank off. Obviously, I was not needed because they destroyed it. So now we see my counterpart on the other side, another Dragoon, and I'd hope to be able to get over there fast enough to flank him as he's trying to flank my teammate. So I go ahead and load some heat because I won't have a hard time penning the rear of his vehicle. I do not need to head over that way, and remember I mentioned driving wheeled vehicles? I'm still getting used to it myself as I need a wall there. Oh, actually I should have been able to drive through the Kairos, I thought. Well, guess not. Although I do remember reporting on the Armored Talk blog at armoredtalk.com that they were fixing some of the collision models of some obstacles prior to the next release. So maybe that is an area on this particular map that they are working on. I don't know that. I'll have to test it out on a future game. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit to get to the next action. I think I mentioned this in a previous video that I have a bad habit of, if I'm not trying to be stealthy or avoid artillery, I'm looking at the mini-map and what's ahead of me, and sometimes I run over obstacles. Back to this game that actually hit for 200 damage, firing on the move, coming up on the hill on the BMP-1, I think that is. Yeah, it's the tier 3 BMP-1. There's also a BMD-1 in game. Yeah, I'm taking some hits there. At the time, I wasn't too concerned. The game's almost over with, and there's only a couple tanks left. They're low health. I had plenty of hit points to trade, so I wasn't too concerned. If this would have been the beginning of the game, I would not have been trying to trade shots like I was there. So, but now my poor Dragoon sounds like it's broken, if you can hear the engine and transmission noise. Overall, I like this tank. Yeah, I've only played it a handful of times. You'll be able to play this when Early Access 5 arrives on September 3rd. It is a tier 3 wheeled tank destroyer. Has a good gun that fires fairly fast and hits hard. So maybe at the beginning of the game, be careful to not expend any of your hit points and support your allies with supporting fire. Use your speed to readjust your position as necessary, or towards the end of the game, hunt down stragglers. This has been Spooky from ArmoredTalk.com, your website dedicated to all of your Armored Warfare news and information. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Come visit us on the blog. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to see more videos like this. And until I see you on the battlefield, have a good day or good night, wherever you are.